I just watched the Puppy Bowl and oh my gosh, so much cute! Hello lovely people, it's Nicole and today I'm doing my January wrap-up. I have quite a few books this month. And so let's just jump right in. So to start off the year, I read Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rosh, and this was a great way to start off the year. This is a high fantasy about, it's kind of complicated to explain, but basically it's a teenage girl who is a refugee. The main character, Mira, and a couple other people, including the Crown Prince, are now trying to sort of do what they can to help save their kingdom. I loved this. It was so good. I felt like the world was really well developed and it was complex enough to be interesting, but not so complex that it got confusing, which a lot of high fantasies can do. It was so much fun, and I have an entire review on it. I will link that in the description, and I gave this 5 stars. Next, I sort of stayed in a high fantasy mood, and so I read Pennyroyal Academy by M.A. Larson. This is a middle grade book about basically a school where girls and boys go to learn to become princes and princesses, or princesses and knights. Yeah, that's what it is. And it's about this one girl in particular who has no memory of who she is or where she came from. All she knows is that she has to get to this school. I liked this. I didn't love it. There were a number of things about it that felt just kind of off to me. None of the characters felt like they really were that well developed. I didn't really get super emotionally attached to any of them. And the main romantic relationship felt weird to me. It wasn't technically insta-love because they knew each other for like a year before they kind of actually got together, but it still felt kind of insta-lovey just because of the way that they acted around each other and the way that they talked to each other. I really did, however, like the school that they were at. I thought it was so cool and kind of fun how it was this, you know, fantastical, magical school that was kind of like a military academy. I don't know. It was just really fun. It was an enjoyable read. I definitely recommend if you want something easy and light and fairy tale-y. I gave this 3 stars. Next, keeping in the fairy tale theme, I read Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. This has been sitting on my shelf for months and I'm so glad I finally got to it. I kind of expected it to be cheesy and not very good, and I honestly expected to be rolling my eyes a lot and for there to be insta-love, and oh my gosh, I was so wrong. So this is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and it's very dark and twisted and a little bit sexy, and oh my gosh, it was so good. I loved the guy who was sort of the Beast. He felt like he was a really genuinely complex character, and the main character, I liked her. She wasn't my favorite character, just because I didn't think she was quite as interesting as the Beast. Although she was also interesting, she just wasn't as interesting, I guess. I thought sort of her dynamic with her family was interesting. I thought the world was fantastic. I really loved this. I gave this 5 stars. Next, I read The Winner's Curse by Marie Vertowski. This is a sort of high fantasy. It's in like a separate world from ours, but it doesn't have any magic or anything. Anyway, this is a sort of militaristic society where you are either in the military or you are married, basically, if you're a girl. And this is about the girl who is the daughter of one of the sort of main generals of the military. He really wants her to go into the military and she doesn't want to, but she also doesn't want to get married. And at one point she like buys a slave, because this is a society that conquered another society and now they've enslaved those people, and she buys a slave and finds that he's more than she expected him to be, and things happen from there. A lot of people have been raving about this, and I honestly didn't really get it that much. I mean, I liked it, I really did. I gave it, I think, 4 stars, but I didn't think it was as mind-blowingly amazing as people were making it out to be. I don't know, it may just be, that may just be me. I liked it, I didn't love it. I still gave it 4 stars. Next, I read Leave the Window Open by Victoria Schwab, which is a novella from the archived series about Wesley, and it was so great. It was really cute. It picks up right after The Unbound leaves off, and it was just cute and happy, and I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it, I think, like 5 stars. Then I read More Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops by Jen Campbell. I read the first one of this a little while ago, and I really enjoyed it, and I was very excited to pick up this one. These are just so much fun, and they're funny, and they're super quick because they're really, really short. It's just, you know, someone who works in a bookshop talking about some of the weird things people say to her, and ignorant things people say to her, and funny things people say to her, and there are some submissions from other people, and one of the funniest parts of this book was probably actually the section of weird things people said to her at signings of Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops, the first one, and I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. Then I picked up Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by David Levithan and Rachel Cohn. I'm sorry. I loved this. I was sort of in a bad mood when I picked it up, and I needed something just to make me feel better, and I read this all in one sitting. It was so, so great. It was cute, and it was fluffy, and it was fun, and it was adorable. And the characters, I feel like, could have been maybe interpreted as a little pretentious at times, but, you know, it's a young adult novel. A lot of characters are kind of pretentious in young adult novels. But this was so much fun. It was about a girl who leaves sort of a scavenger hunt in a little notebook in her favorite bookshop, and the boy who picks it up. And I really loved this. I give it 5 stars. Next, I read Say What You Will by Carrie McGovern, and I had some problems with this. For the first probably 2/3 of this book, I really, really enjoyed it. It's about a girl who is struggling with, she has cerebral palsy, I think, and her mom hires some of her peers to help her around school and carry her books and help introduce her to new people and make friends. And it's about one of the boys who is hired to do that, and her, and they become friends, and other things happen. And I really enjoyed it for the first 2/3. I felt like the characters felt real. They felt like real teenagers, and they talked like real teenagers, and there were a number of moments where the conversation got really awkward in a very teenagery way, and I really, really enjoyed that. I really loved their relationship and the way things sort of interacted with their school, I guess. But then there was a plot twist that I really didn't like. I don't want to say what it is, just because spoilers, but it's sort of like the major plot twist in the book, and I just don't like that storyline that happens sometimes in books. I tend to avoid books that I know have that particular storyline, and I didn't know this was gonna have that, and I didn't like it so much. So I ended up only giving this book 3 stars. It probably would have been a 4-star book if it didn't have that, but then I read The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. I love Holly Black. She's so great. This book is about a girl and her brother who live in this town that has fairies, and the town sort of has a general alliance with the fairies, but it's kind of fragile because the fairies enjoy killing them. And then one day something dramatic changes in the realm of the fairies, and things happen. I really, 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 really loved this. It was so good. Holly Black definitely knows her stuff when it comes to fairies. I mean, that's sort of where she got her start in writing, and she is so good at it. I loved this. It felt dark in all the right places. It was funny in all the right places. It was romantic and cute in all the right places. I just really loved it, and I really, really liked her brother. Her brother was pretty cool, and then Jack also. Those are my favorite characters. I gave this 5 stars. Then I read The Bookshop Book by Jen Campbell. This is a book about bookshops all over the world and some of the people who own them, and it has, you know, interviews from authors and pictures of bookshops, and it was just so much fun. It's so great to read. I read this sort of interspersed between the other books I was reading, so it took me a little longer because I don't read nonfiction as nearly as fast as I read fiction, but I really loved this. It very much read like a love letter to books and to bookshops, and it just made me happy. And basically now I just need to go on a tour of Europe and look at all the beautiful bookshops. That's basically what I took away from this. I gave it 5 stars. Then I read All Fall Down by Allie Carter. This is a new release this month, and I love Allie Carter. Her books are so great. This is about a girl who lives in an embassy to a fictional country. So she moves in with her grandmother after her mother dies, and she meets new friends there, and she's sort of trying to find her mother's killer, and it is great. I really enjoyed this. I love Allie Carter's writing. It's so much fun, and it's funny, and the characters are all, you know, entertaining and cute, and I love it. I loved her other 2 series. I love this one. I'm very excited to see what happens next. The plot twist at the end of this was great. So I gave this 5 stars. Then I was having kind of a hard week, so I decided to pick up my favorite book, Fangirl by Ramble. This is a nice special UK edition. And I mean, I love this book. I've talked before about how much I love this book. It makes me happy. It's about a girl who goes off to college, and she's stressed out because her twin sister, who she's sort of leaned on for support in social situations all her life, is now saying, sorry, I don't want to room with you, I want to have the genuine college experience and have my own roommate, which I understand. I mean, it makes sense. But she is all alone, and she has this new roommate living with her who she doesn't know, and she's dealing with social anxiety, and sort of uses a Harry Potter-like fandom as her safety net. And things happen from there, and I love this book so much. I mean, if you've been watching my channel, you know how much I love this book. This is my favorite book right next to Percy Jackson and Harry Potter. I have never connected with a main character more than I've connected with Kath. It's so great, and it makes me want to go curl up and read Harry Potter after I finish it. 5 stars, always. Then I read another new release, Fairest by Marissa Meyer. And this book has prettiness here. It's very nice. I just wanted to show that off because it's really pretty. Anyway, this is the prequel book to the Lunar Chronicles series, about Queen Lavanna, and about how she got so dang messed up, because Queen Lavanna she has some issues. She has a lot of issues. She's crazy. And I love seeing villain backstories. I just think it's so cool, and I love seeing from their point of view. This was not my favorite of all the villains' backstories. It definitely wasn't my favorite of the Lunar Chronicles books. I still enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed seeing her deteriorate from this, you know, maybe not the most morally sound, but generally sweet and naive teenage girl to the big mess of crazy that she is in the Lunar Chronicles, and I gave this 4 stars. Then I read I Was Here by Gail Forman. This is Gail Forman's brand new book. It just came out on the 27th, about a girl whose best friend just committed suicide, and she has to go into Seattle, this is my hometown, really enjoyed seeing that, to sort of pick up her stuff from her dorm room, or from her room up at college, and she meets her best friend's friends, and learns that she maybe didn't know her friend as well as she thought she did. And I really enjoyed this. It was definitely a darker, more emotional book, but I thought it was really well done, and it talked about a subject that's really hard to talk about, and I think I talked about it really well, and got into some things that are kind of scary, and it was very honest about death and about relationships, and I really, really, really liked this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Lord of the Flies by Arthur Golden. I did not like this at all. I mean, I definitely can see how it has, you know, literary merit and important social commentary and such, but I didn't like it. I felt like the writing style was kind of hard to follow at times. I kept getting confused as to who was doing what and who was saying what and what exactly was happening with the plot. I liked the overarching plotline and the basic premise of, you know, you have a group of 6 to 12-year-old boys getting dropped on an island all alone without adult supervision. I think it's a really interesting premise, but I didn't like it at all. I feel like a lot of things happened, and they did a lot of things that should have been shocking, but because I didn't connect with any of the characters, I didn't even kind of like any of the characters, when bad things happened, I didn't care. I only gave this 2 stars. Alright, so those are the 14 books I read this month and 1 novella. I think I had a pretty good month. It was definitely a good way to start the year. There were a couple ones in there that weren't so great, but there were definitely a lot of really, really, really good books in there. I am very excited because some really, really exciting things come out next month, like the Ruby Circle, which is the last book in the Bloodline series. Very excited for that. And I'm just excited for what the rest of the year has to bring. Okay, I love you guys, and I will see you later. Bye.